Hey everybody, my name's Tyler O'Connor. For those of you that don't know, I'm from Inez, Kentucky. I'm 24 years old. I'm making this video and I've actually went ahead and made a YouTube account because recently I was diagnosed with autonomic dysfunction and more specifically POTS, which is postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome. Um, a quick run through. So about 3 months ago, I'd laid down to go to sleep. The entire right side of my body started tingling, and it was almost like an icy hot feeling, like a hot flash. That was followed by like severe anxiety. So I flew into a panic attack. Um, I was rushed to the hospital. I thought I was having a heart attack. When I get there, they do blood work, X-ray, EKG, give me an aspirin, and all my tests come back normal. So I had a nurse come in and was like, "Look, man, you look okay, but your heart rate's kind of low, and it's a little too low for comfort." And I was like, "Well, what is it, And he's like, "Well, it's 34." I was like, "Man, I don't know about all that, So he's like, "Has it always been that low?" And I'll be honest, I haven't ever really been to the doctor. I mean, it's been 4 or 5 years since I've been to a regular doctor's visit. So, I mean, I had no clue. I work out regularly, and I'd like to think that I'm in decent shape, but I don't know about no 34. Uh, so anyway, I go and I have the full cardiologist work up, and everything's perfect. I do the stress test, I do X-ray, I do Holter monitor, I do an echo, and numerous more EKGs and X-rays and blood work over the next month, because I continuously went to the ER constantly had doctors tell me, "Look, you're having panic attacks, look, you're having panic attacks." And I've never dealt with anxiety in my life. Um, and I just knew, there's something off, there's something wrong. So I kept pushing, and eventually I kind of gave into the idea that, hey, like, maybe this is something that's in my head. So I start seeing a psychiatrist. Um, I go and see this cat, and he lines me up and puts me on some Lexapro. So I start the Lexapro, and it was absolute hell for a week. I mean, I had tremors, and I couldn't sleep, and I was waking up in the middle of the night with panic attacks. And I started experiencing facial numbness and numbness in my hand again. Um, so I made it to about the 2 week mark, and it was dealing with my anxiety some, but with that, it was causing the side effects of the medication was causing me to have even more anxiety. So ultimately, I chose to stop the Lexapro. So on day 14 of the Lexapro, I discontinued it. I was kind of in a calmer state of mind. So I get up off the couch, and it almost feels like my chest just inverts. I mean, immediately. I go into this panic. I sit back down, and it goes away. I stand back up, same thing. Sit back down, it goes away. I was like, what in the hell's wrong with me? So my fiance, Katie, she has a blood pressure cuff here at home. She just had our son on July 9th, about a week before all this started. And so I run over here and I check my blood pressure, and it's like 122/72. The heart rate's 50, which is perfect. I stand up and I check it, and my blood pressure is almost the same. My heart rate's 110. So I just thought right there, I was like, that's not right. There's no way that that's right. So I start doing a lot of research on my own, and I come across POTS. So for about a week straight, I'm doing constant research, just anything and everything I can figure out about this. And basically what POTS is, and correct me if I'm wrong if anybody looks this stuff up, because I'm new to it too, and I've tried to cram so much information in my head over the last 2 months that, I mean, I'm one board exam away from being a neurologist, I think, at this point. So basically all POTS is it's failure of my autonomic nervous system, and there's two branches of your sympathetic nervous system, I think. The sympathetic is your fight or flight, which is, your adrenaline rush, your anxiety, whatever. And then your asympathetic is your rest and digest. So you think about a gas pedal on a car as your sympathetic and a brake pedal for your asympathetic. So basically, at some point, there was an imbalance in my nervous system, and it's causing my nervous system to not allow my blood vessels to constrict properly when I stand up, when I change positions. So from sitting to standing, the blood falls out of my head, and once my nervous system fails to kick in, my heart kicks in, and it doubles. And with that, I've experienced fatigue, brain fog, like it's changed my vision completely. Headache. I've had a headache constantly for three straight months. I've also had like neuropathy issues, so like I've had sunburn sensations on the tops of my arms, my hands going numb, my left leg feeling like it's sunburnt, my face. So after I figure all this out anyway, and I'll try to keep this video under 10 minutes. This is going to be a little longer, you know. I'm trying to establish a backstory and let everybody know what's up. So after all this, I go back and see my cardiologist, and I was like, hey, look, so he does what's called a poor man's tilt table. And I'll also, in the description box, I'll provide some links to give some information about POTS in itself and dysautonomia, so that everybody can kind of brush up on it. So I go into the office, and he diagnoses me with POTS via poor man's tilt table test. And pretty much all that is he checked my blood pressure sitting, and then he checked it standing. I have POTS. At that point, he's a cardiologist specialist. He has no idea about my nervous system, so he refers me to a neurologist. So at this point, I'm freaking out. I'm thinking, like, I've got multiple sclerosis, like there's something going on with me. Like, I'm having constant muscle spasms all over my legs, and I'm still having them right now. So I go to this neurologist, and she's like, hey, look, like, your initial checkup's looking good. Like, all your reflexes are fine. Your eyes are dilating the way they're supposed to. Let's schedule you for an MRI. So about 3 weeks ago, I go for my MRI, and everything came back perfectly normal. So she tells me that majority of my symptoms are anxiety related, and that I need to seek some type of help as far as an antidepressant goes. So I was like, whatever. So I kind of brushed her off, and I had a buddy that kind of vouched out Marshall Neurology in Huntington, West Virginia. So I go and see him. It was actually this last Monday. And when I go see him, he basically looks at me after I tell him that I was diagnosed with POTS, and he tells me that most neurologists around here have no idea about the autonomic nervous system, and that they almost always specialize in only MS and or Parkinson's. That's their specialty. He immediately gave me a referral to Cleveland Clinic, which is another reason that I'd like to start making these videos, is because that's a 7-hour drive for me, and if that's going to be my normal doctor, you know, I'd like to document it. And plus too, I've always been an active person, and anybody that knows me knows that I'm high strung. Like, I've always been like life of the party. At work, I'm crazy. Like, I'm constantly talking someone's head off, and then like this is pretty much like just pulled the plug on my whole life. And for me, it's been difficult to swallow mentally, just as tough as it's been physically. And I feel like, for me, I'm a big advocate of mental health. I feel like if you've got an issue, or if you're feeling down about something, like you need to come out in the open. You need to talk to somebody about it, or talk to anybody. And for me, I found that the best medicine for me is I talk to anybody that'll listen about anything. If I feel bad, that's just what I do, and it helps me out a lot. And I hope that with me making these videos and maybe educating some people around me and involving some people around me, that, you know, they like maybe they'll start taking this a little more serious, you know. And it's not me taking a shot at anybody, but it's hard, you know. I've went to the ER numerous times. I've gone to these doctor's appointments, and like there's absolutely nothing that has come back abnormal. Absolutely nothing. So I'm going to provide a couple links in the description box down below, and I'll also be posting this on Facebook for everybody to see. And just, you know, just kind of browse through it. Like, the only way that I can describe this is like every morning when I wake up, I feel like I'm drunk and I have the flu, and my adrenaline is through the roof. Like, it's stupid. And I've never felt like this before. Like, I just feel so out of control. My exercise tolerance is gone. I mean, I can't walk up and down my stairs. I haven't been upstairs. I've been upstairs one time in 3 months in my own house, because I literally can't do it. If I walk up the stairs and come back down, I have to lay down on the couch and prop my feet up to get my blood back to my heart. So there are different ways that they can treat this, and as far as I know, like as long as I don't go to Cleveland and they find some like underlying cause that's crazy, which I don't think they will, all these symptoms are manageable. As of right now, traditional medication for POTS and autonomic dysfunction would be like a beta blocker or a vasoconstrictor, which I can't get because my heart rate is already in the 40s and the 30s and the 50s, you know. And as far as I can see, my condition's not as bad as the majority of people that have this. I mean, I've talked to some people and I've reached out to some support groups, and there are people who, when they stand up off the couch, their heart rate gets up to 200 beats per minute. So this is definitely something I feel like for me that's going to be manageable. They do like Botox injections for migraines, and then they'll do like Adderall for fatigue, and you know, hopefully this is something that I can work around. And right now they've got me wearing compression stockings, and I look like a dirty lingerie model or something. I don't know. But anyway, I appreciate everybody watching the video, taking time out of your day. Follow my page. I'll continue sharing these videos on Instagram and Facebook, and uploading these to YouTube. I'll try to post once a week. I plan on going over stuff like I'm going to try out different diets that are supposed to help with autonomic dysfunction. I'm going to try out different workouts that hopefully will bring out my exercise intolerance. And I'm also going to be making videos on some of the pharmaceutical treatments that they're going to be putting me on. So, you know, if they do decide to put me on a vasoconstrictor or whatever, maybe I'll make daily logs and kind of spin them all into one video. But I appreciate everybody for watching, and have a good day.